What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we have the college football talk for week 12 and week 11. Week 11 did not go very well at all. So feel free to laugh at me in the comments, and so we'll just go ahead and get started. So Tuesday we got both of them right. Wednesday we got the Ball State Kent State game wrong. I will say I did get unlucky, fairly a decent amount again, like I was in the beginning of the year. Ball State beat Kent State by 4 points, 17-13. Georgia Southern beat App State, and for whatever reason, I forgot to write the scores for these two. I believe this was a one-score game, and then I got the Tulane-Memphis game wrong. I think Tulane just beat them by a couple scores, I believe. Anyway, we went 4, 6, and 3, which not terrible at all. And then we'll go over, some of the stuff that happened. So Tuesday, Ohio had a last-minute touchdown to get bowl eligibility versus Miami, Ohio, 24-20. And UMass. Poor UMass. UMass falls to 0-9 after 44-10 loss versus Akron. Just maybe UMass will get a win this year. Maybe, hopefully. Ball State on Wednesday had a late fourth quarter touchdown to beat Kent State 17-13. And then Kent State had a chance to win, and they just had terrible clock management, and, well, they blew it. Anywho, Thursday, South Florida had 31 second quarter points to put them over the top versus UTSA, 51-23. So really, they won in just one quarter alone. App State comes up short versus Georgia Southern despite 14 fourth quarter points, 55-23. It's hard to come back, when you're trailing 25 to, 9, going into the fourth quarter to win. On Friday, Memphis comes up short versus Tulane despite 15 fourth quarter points, 38-32. And then Houston had a 6-point fourth quarter. It was 2 field goals to beat UCF 30-27. So, pretty eventful. I'm going to show a terrible number. Don't look. We went 26 for 17. Or 26 and 17 on Saturday. Oh my goodness. This was terrible. So, the ones we got wrong was the Army-Temple game. That was 14-13. Missouri State beat Liberty. Had that one wrong. 21-17. Rice beat UAB. I had that one right. I don't know why I said that. East Michigan beat Bowling Green. 27-21. Rutgers beat Maryland 32-20. I honestly thought Maryland would win, but home field advantage helped out Rutgers there. FIU beat Middle Tennessee 56-30. I have no idea why I picked Middle Tennessee. No idea. UConn beat Duke 37-34. Iowa State beat TCU 20-17. Louisiana beat Texas State 42-39. A lot of one-score games. Air Force beat San Jose State 26-16. Wake Forest beat Virginia 16-9. Cal beat Louisville 29-6. I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard to see half of these coming, honestly. Clemson beat Florida State 24-10. That was really a 50-50 game. Kentucky just beat the brakes off of Florida 38-7. Nebraska beat UCLA 28-21. Sam Houston got their first win. Everybody give a round of applause to Sam Houston. They beat Oregon State, of all people, but win's a win, especially on the road, 21-17. Hawaii beat San Diego State 38-6. And the only game I'm happy about getting wrong, shout out to Paulie. He's probably shaking his head right now laughing. Wisconsin with the big-time upset versus Washington. That honestly felt good because I wasn't even home when that was going on. I got home with like 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. and I was pumped up, honestly. And so anyway, we went 26-17 on Saturday. We went 32-20 overall, which is good for about 60% roughly, and we are 455 and 157, which is 74%. Which honestly, it's not terrible. We were 75% last week, so I mean, we only dropped 1%. So, oh, I don't know why I flipped that away. I had to read it back. All right, Wisconsin upsets number 23 Washington 13-10. Their punter, yes, my Wisconsin Badgers leading passer was the punter with 24 yards. I was not joking when our quarterback situation is terrible, because it really is. Ohio State remains unbeaten versus Purdue 34-10. Indiana had a last-second touchdown and remained unbeaten 27-24 versus Penn State. It was a crazy catch in the back of the end zone by the goalpost. That was just crazy. crazy catch. I honestly thought Penn State was going to win. Texas A&M beats Mizzou 38-17. Texas A&M is really good this year. Texas Tech hands BYU their first loss 29-7. We got one unbeaten team knocked out. I thought Indiana was going to, but they held strong. Oregon with 3. Wait, what? Oh, Oregon with 3 seconds drills a field goal to take down Iowa 18-16. Wake Forest upsets Virginia on the road 16-9. Cal had a walk-off touchdown in overtime to upset Louisville 29-26. It was like 4th and goal. And obviously, if you're a team like Cal and you have Louisville, a ranked team, on the ropes, and you have a chance to, go for a field goal and tie or just outright win it, you got to win it. Like, there's really no question about it. Cal's not making the playoffs. The best they can do is a bowl game, and you got to go for it, and they did. Paid off. Vandy survives Auburn in overtime, 45-38. Auburn has not been able to get the job done. They've had close games, just can't get the job done at all. Missouri State takes down Liberty 21-17. Antoine Raymond runs for 240 yards versus Maryland, and Rutgers win 35-20. Delaware had a walk-off field goal to beat Louisiana Tech 25-24, set up by an onside kick recovery. Yes, those things still exist because college kickoff rules are completely different than the NFL, and I hope college doesn't change it. Jack State had a last-minute field goal to beat UTEP 30-27. 14 fourth-quarter points lead UConn to a win versus Duke 37-34. Arizona had a late fourth-quarter touchdown to be bowl eligible and a win versus Kansas 24-20. Iowa State had 14 fourth-quarter points to beat TCU 20-17. Kentucky dominates Florida, like I said, 38-7. Sam Houston got their first win versus Oregon State, 21-17, with a fourth-quarter touchdown to put them over the top, and Nebraska survives UCLA, 28-21. All right. So, somewhat eventful Saturday. You definitely had more. Definitely had less. All right, bowl teams eligible, and I'm going to rant a little bit as well. Again, I'm not going to go through the records. I'm just going to name the schools. And if you hear your team, well, then there you go. Ohio, Wake Forest, Missouri State with a asterisk star. I'll get to that. Jack State, ECU, Arizona, Iowa State, and Coastal. All right. So, the thing I have an issue with is Missouri State is a first-year FBS school. I probably mentioned that a couple times. When they got their first FBS win and such. I believe, according to the NCAA rules, when you transfer, from D2 to D3, or obviously D2 schools don't really have it, but if you go from D2 to D1, you have to wait, a certain time, make playoffs and whatever if you're in FCS or FBS. When you make the jump from FCS to FBS, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like a three-year wait, I think, before you can actually play in a bowl game, which I was watching a post game, and I know Randy Cross was talking about it. I think it's stupid. I honestly think it's stupid because if you come in, from CS and go in and play FBS football. Like, if your team's that good to make the adjustment, and you go in and, like, you are Missouri State this year, who is 6-3. You've won 6 out of 9 games, and then normally that gets you a bowl game, but for whatever reason, the NCAA has it where you have to wait 3 years to be, bowl eligible, which I honestly don't like, because you've proven yourself already at year one that you can win at this level. Like, you should be able to be rewarded for going in, being a first year FBS school, and winning against those other FBS schools who have been there for a lot longer than you have, and then they don't even get rewarded for it. I just think that's stupid. I know some others might disagree for whatever reasons, and some might agree. Some might say, well, it's because the FBS schools who've been there for longer deserve it. But, I mean, why doesn't the team who's also FBS, who has the same amount of wins that you need to be bowl eligible, why can't they get it? So, little rant. I think it's stupid, but, that's just me. Let me know what you guys think down below. College football, week 12, AP poll. There's actually a good amount of shifts. A couple new schools, and a couple schools were out. BYU went from 8, dropped to 12. Vandy was 15, bumped up to 13. Miami got bumped up 18 to 16. USC from 20 to 17. And then Michigan went 21, and then they are now 18. Louisville dropped from 14 to 19. Virginia, with their loss, dropped from 12 to 20. And then Cincinnati gained a couple spots. They were 25 to 22. The new schools. Pitt is 23, James Madison 24, and USF is 25. So, USF has been in and out, in and out, in and out. I knew James Madison would probably get it. And Pitt, they're not going to be in there long. They have Notre Dame. Yeah, they have Notre Dame. They have Miami. And they had another ranked team that they were playing, and I can't remember. But they had 3 ranked games they were playing in a row, which Pitt's great and all, but when you compare them to teams like Notre Dame and Miami, they're probably not going to win. And because 3 schools got in, 3 schools got dropped out. Washington, Memphis, and Missouri all got dropped out of the AP poll. All right, college football playoff rankings. I said I'd do this after because it make more sense for me to discuss if anybody had issues. So, remember, it's 12-team playoff, first 3 out, and such and such. So your first 12 that would be in if the season stopped today: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, BYU, Texas Tech, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, and Oklahoma. Now remember, this is set by the committee, not NCAA itself. They had the reasonings that nobody really knows about, probably doesn't always agree with, like Texas. But anywho, the first 3 out are Utah, Virginia, and Louisville, which Louisville already ruined their chances. And looking in, Georgia Tech, which honestly, Georgia Tech, should they be in? Should they not be? I don't know. Same with Vandy. Should Vandy be in? Should they not be? Same with Miami. Maybe, maybe not. USC, not really. Iowa, definitely not. Michigan, again, maybe school. Missouri, probably not. Washington, probably not. Pitt and Tennessee, again, probably not. Tennessee, out of those last couple, probably. Louisville and Washington are you likely outs already. Louisville lost at home to, like I said, Cal, 29 to 26 in overtime, and Washington lost to a struggling Wisconsin team. It was like 2-6, I think, going into it. We started off 2-0, and then we dropped 6 straight games. They lost 13 to 10. Likely in. I say this because of their remaining schedule, and even if they did lose one of their games, they'd probably still be in. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, just because those 3 are undefeated. In the remaining schedule, if they did lose, it would have hurt big time. Don't get me wrong, but they'd still make it. Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, BYU, and Notre Dame. Now, this last couple, what was that, 5, are probably going to make it. simply because the remaining of their schedule. Most of you probably know Notre Dame has a unique schedule because they're independent. They play, big schools, and then they also play some not so big schools. I think every year, the last couple of years, they played Navy or Army, which is usually a guaranteed win. This year they had Boston College. I'm not going to say anything about Marshall or Northern Illinois because they lost. But yeah, so Louisville is out. Virginia just lost to Wake Forest. Honestly, they're probably out just because of their schedule. Utah could sneak in if Texas loses again. I could see Utah getting in there. I would love, and I mean love, to see Vandy and or Virginia Tech in. Now, who would they take out for those two? I don't know, but it would be nice to see Vandy back in the playoffs just to see what they can do, because they've done pretty well this year against top teams, and it would definitely be a test and challenge for them to see if they can actually win on the big stage against a big school, or if they can't. So we'll see. Again, the college football playoff rankings come out, I think today or tomorrow. I am filming this on Monday, by the way. This will come out tomorrow on Tuesday, just because I already posted the basketball stuff, so I don't want to post two 20-minute videos on the same day. College football headlines. Colorado is set to let their freshman quarterback start the remainder of the games. Julian Lewis has played in, I think, just a handful of games. He's thrown for 428 yards, 3 touchdowns, which you might be like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. 33 for 56, and not so great on the completions, but also not terrible. But his quarterback passer rating is only 46, so figure some stuff out, hopefully. And your games of the week: Clemson at Louisville, Minnesota at Oregon, Wisconsin at Indiana, Notre Dame at Pitt, South Florida at Navy, Arkansas at LSU. Both struggling schools, but that'll be a good game regardless. Oklahoma at Alabama, Virginia at Duke. Virginia has to win this game. Has to win this game. If they lose, then they're out of the playoffs without a doubt. Iowa at USC, Penn State at Michigan State. Again, 2 struggling schools, but it'll still be a good game regardless. Florida at Ole Miss, Texas at Georgia. Honestly, even if Texas loses this, with the way the committee is and how they've honestly been wrapping Texas around their arms, they'll probably still make playoffs anyway, unfortunately. Mississippi State at Missouri, and TCU at BYU. And the reason I say, unfortunately, for Texas is, honestly, I don't want to say overrated, but they're not as good as everybody thought they would be. And honestly, Vandy, I think lost to Texas at home by not a whole lot. So, I mean, depending on how the seeding goes, that could be a good game, especially if it was a rematch. Georgia Tech, I don't know if they do anything versus Texas, but all right, we'll get into the picks. We have about a minute or so. Try to fly through these. On Tuesday, we're going to take Akron versus Kent State. Kent State let me down. I'm not picking them. And Akron's actually had a pretty good offense. We're going to take Ohio versus West Michigan on the road. Wednesday, we're going to take Central Michigan taking on Buffalo at home. We're going to take UMass. Yes, we're taking UMass at home versus Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is a 2-7 school. UMass has no reason that they cannot win this game. No reason whatsoever. We're going to take Toledo versus Miami, Ohio. They played the same schools, except Toledo usually beats them by 2 touchdowns better than Miami does, so we're going to take Toledo. Thursday, there's only one game. We're going to take Old Dominion at home versus Troy. Friday, there's only 2. Pretty good games, though. Louisville hosts Clemson, and in Louisville, I don't know if they're already out of the playoffs. Again, like I said, I'm filming this on Monday, but if they aren't, they have to win this game. Have to. Oregon at home versus Minnesota should be an easy win there for the Ducks. All right. Week 12, college football picks. First Saturday, 51 games. A little bit more. We're going to take Indiana at home versus Wisconsin State undefeated. We're also going to take Texas A&M at home versus South Carolina. We're going to take Notre Dame on the road versus Pitt, because why not? Like I said, Pitt might be a little overrated again this year. I don't know. Michigan at Northwestern. We're going to take Michigan. We're going to take Cincinnati hosting Arizona. We're going to take Kansas State versus Oklahoma State, knowing Kansas State will end up losing that one because they should have won, and then they'll lose, and then they'll, I don't know. So that's just how they've been this year. They win the games they shouldn't, and they lose the games they shouldn't. So basically, yeah. We're going to take UConn at home versus Air Force. UConn has been pleasantly surprisingly good this year. We're going to take UTSA on the road versus Charlotte. Charlotte's not really good, although Charlotte probably end up winning that and make me eat my words. South Florida on the road versus Navy. We're going to take South Florida. We're going to take East Michigan on the road versus Ball State. We're going to take LSU at home versus Arkansas. And we're going to take Oregon State on the road versus Tulsa. Tulsa might win. Don't get me wrong. They might win. But we're going to take Oregon State. We're going to take Arizona State versus West Virginia. West Virginia struggling. Arizona State not so much. We're going to take them. Kentucky at home versus Tennessee Tech. And you might be like, I haven't heard Tennessee Tech all year. That's because they're FCS. Who scheduled Kentucky's games and put an FCS school at the end of the season? I don't know, but Tennessee Tech, ladies and gentlemen, is 10-0, undefeated in FCS play. Granted, they're not really predicted to win because they're first in an FCS school, but watch out, ladies and gentlemen. We might have a big-time upset. Who knows? Marshall at Georgia State. We're going to take Marshall. We're going to take North Texas versus UAB. We're going to take Missouri State at home versus UTEP to just continue to win and just... I'm still mad about that. But, I mean, I'm not a Missouri State fan. I just think it's baloney. New Mexico at home versus Colorado State. We're going to take Alabama versus Oklahoma. We're going to take Texas Tech versus UCF. This should be an easy win for Texas Tech. We're going to take Duke at home versus Virginia for the upset. Knock off Virginia and ruin their playoff hopes. We're going to take Georgia Tech versus Boston College. Should be an easy win for Georgia Tech, as long as the cold don't bother them. We're going to take Miami versus the Wolfpack at NC State. We're going to take USC versus Iowa at home. We're going to take Michigan State versus Penn State. I don't think Penn State's going to win at all. We're going to take the Illini at home versus Maryland. We're going to take Kentucky at home. Wait. Oh, okay. Western Kentucky, excuse me, versus Middle Tennessee. We're going to take San Jose State versus Mountain West Nevada. We're going to take App State losing versus James Madison. James Madison's so good this year. We're going to take South Alabama versus UL Monroe. We're going to take Southern Miss versus Texas State. We're going to take Memphis on the road to beat East Carolina. We're going to take Tulane to beat FAU. We're going to take Tennessee to beat New Mexico State. We're going to take North Carolina Tar Heels to beat Wake Forest. Even though Wake Forest just had an upset win, we're still going to take Bill Belichick. We're going to take Liberty on the road versus FIU. We're going to take Coastal Carolina to beat Georgia Southern. We're going to take Ole Miss to beat the Gators. We're going to take Utah to beat knock-off Baylor. Utah fighting for playoff rights. We're going to take Washington versus Purdue. Purdue's not very good this year, per usual for football. We're going to take Delaware to beat Sam Houston on the road. We're going to take UNLV at home versus Utah State. We're going to take Ohio State versus UCLA. And we're going to take Georgia at home versus Texas. We're going to take Florida State at home versus Virginia Tech. Hopefully that'll be a good game. We're going to take Missouri at home versus Mississippi State. See how Missouri fares in that one. Just a couple games left. We're going to take Kennesaw State on the road versus Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is good this year. They have a run game, really good. As long as Kennesaw State can stop it, they'll probably have an easy win. We're going to take Washington State at home versus Louisiana Tech. We're going to take BYU at home versus TCU. We're going to take Boise State as road warriors to knock off San Diego State. And then we're going to take Fresno State at home versus Wyoming. So that's it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We got Jeff Gordon with the Santa hat. Then we have some gold label. Cards look sweet. From 1999. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully we have an eventful week of college football. Hopefully my picks treat me better than they did last week. And hopefully everybody had a great weekend. So until next time, guys, see ya.